Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. Levels out as he passes by.
They're carnivorous. They are not friendly to mankind, at least the ones that are here.
Are you saying carnivorous, they eat humans?
Yes. And they need to be, they won't eat a dead human. It has to be alive at the time of the killing. Their preference is children. The higher echelon that are actually helping them acquire this.
So human beings are abducting the kids and giving them to the Greys who in turn give them to the Alpha Draconians?
That's right. That's part of the deal. They won't come up as long as we feed them down there. You understand? It's about human beings selling themselves out. There's something wrong here. What's wrong with this picture?
Why else are they dangerous to humanity?
Because they don't like us.
Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. Good shot. Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. There he goes. Turns to me and says, see, there is a security as I'm exiting.
In the police station, when he was being held down and the sergeant came over, he said the sergeant shapeshifted in front of him, turned into a reptile, and then came back to human and then shapeshifted again and returned. So then when you talk to insiders and when you look back at the texts that talk about the fact that this serpent race exists in planes unknown to man, just outside his frequency range.
Drug overuse, malnutrition, of suicide. The national toll per year is in the thousands every year. Kids die violently because of this.
Okay, what's that entertainment usually involve? What do they usually demand, or what do they want?
Well, it's all kinds of sex and perversions. There's no two alike. I've decided that.
Subsequent to the making of this interview, this boy's mutilated body was found.
They say carnivorous, they eat humans?
Yes. And they need to be, they won't eat a dead human. It has to be alive at the time of the killing. Their preference is children.
Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. Black and white LAPD. Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. Got Los Angeles Police Department helicopters being used illegally to gang stalk, harass for uploading Reptilian Shapeshifter movies to YouTube. The way the sound is projected at me and the way they fly by is how you can tell it's a gang stalking buzz. Alright, so looks like we got a 2:30 a.m. Well, let's see what we got here. We got 2:45 a.m. buzz starting up. As I woke up, I started thinking about all my stuff going on with the reptilians and the exposure and everything. I can hear a buzz starting up. See, it's probably a hologram that they can project the sound, and what they've been doing lately is projecting the sound to where it's very faint, just to get your consciousness. Now they did that the whole time, but lately they've just been doing like a very subtle. Gets a little bit louder. See, it's getting a little bit louder right now, and we'll see if we can get a. Let's see if we can get out here. Remember, it's 2:30 at night, guys. You normally don't get any helicopters out here, so this is a. See that guy going by there? See, I got the camera out. There he goes. Very rare. You're gonna see. See, he doesn't dare come over here now. See. It'd be too obvious. But you see how he circled around there? You see how he's circling around? Because he curved off right there, but he's probably not going to do a direct flyover because, see, this is rare for a helicopter to be flying over, especially right over here. Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. Black and white LAPD, direct overhead. Nope, it's a gray and silver LAPD. June 2nd, 12:22 p.m. This is right after I just uploaded the June 1st gang stalking report. However, circling around, same one. That guy buzzed me as I came out.
Quite horrific, but if we don't know about it, what can we do to stop it and to change it? I spoke to Arizona Wilder in Los Angeles, and this is what she had to say.
The Illuminati are actually run by these 13 bloodlines, which are all of the royal families in Europe and in England, and they need the blood because they are, in fact, not human. They take human shape. They are reptilians, and they need the blood. The blood helps them maintain their reptilian shape, and it helps them maintain their sanity, and it helps them to live in this world because they are not from this world. But what they need is, for it to be secreted in the blood, is they need terrorization of their victims before they are killed for their blood. And they have to terrorize them to get this to come out in the blood and be secreted in the blood. They are killed at that moment as they are staring into their eyes, and not only do they can't hold their shape when this happens. The
human shape.
The human shape they cannot hold. They go back into reptilian shape as this is happening, because it's like an animalistic type of excitement. Oftentimes they will just rip into the victim and eviscerate them and start eating the flesh of.
And I remember, I'll swear on a stack of Bibles, I remember a lizard man in that office. It was His Highness Draco something, I can't remember the other name. And he was about 6 foot, 7 foot tall, had sort of like scaly skin, humanoid. He walked erect like we do. He had 2 arms, 2 legs. He had a tail, but it really didn't show most of the time. He had somewhat of a humanoid face, strange eyes, a big mouth, and looked like what you would expect if you're going to put together a lizard man. There was a being on Star Trek called the Gorn that Captain Kirk fought on this planet. This man that I worked next to sort of resembled that being. Now,
how did that strike you?
I didn't.
That would have to be a traumatic experience. No, not to you.
I didn't have that much to do with it. I call it it. I'm not sure whether it was he or she, but I didn't have that much to do with it.
But you accepted his presence as something normal for.
What else do you do? You're working next to this thing.
True.
It's, how are you? Hi, that sort of thing.
Going for coffee and donuts?
He spoke in a hissy voice, hissed a lot, and sort of sounded like he was loud whispering most of the time.
Alright, so these reptilians, they always buzz me with these holographic helicopters. They're holographic because they can't get one out, I don't think, quick enough to time it. So just when I leave, I was walking out of this store over here, and what do you know, chopper just went right as I didn't have the camera rolling, so I couldn't catch it. But what's the reason they did that, I think, is because it's a summer now, so they're having the concerts in the park. And for some reason, they spaz out, like they really buzz me hard. Like if I'm walking towards that park area when they have these summer concerts in the park, it's like they don't want me there in that place. Like, I don't know. One thought I have was that it was the reptilians that are in the band. They don't want me near them, or the demons, or that it's like that's like a demon energy feeding fest, and they don't want a true Christian there with Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit energy in that place. So that's why they try to scare me up. But they don't have to worry, because I really don't like going to those concerts in the park anyway. The sound always sucks. It's like tinny, and because of the acoustics there. So I really don't enjoy going there anyway. But for some reason, if I even drive by there or walk by there or anything while they're having those concerts in the park, they freak out. So it's just really weird. Alright, so look at this. It says Los Angeles Sheriff Sergeant Tui O. Wright is being investigated by the LA Civil Grand Jury and the U.S. Department Homeland Security for AKA LSD Denial Microwave Assassins Gang, conspiracy to commit murder, direct energy weapons violations, and civil rights offenses.
So it looks like we got this guy here, and this is the first time I've seen this post here. I saw the thing, but I didn't see the part about the energy weapons, direct energy weapons. So this gang stalking is, as you can see, is not it's universal. I mean, everybody's a lot of people are experiencing it, and I think that's pretty much backed up by the fact that Vice will do a special on it, and even have a UK and an American version. Plus, I just did a radio show last night, or yesterday afternoon, and so it's pretty interesting to see how all that pans out. But yeah, this gang stalking is getting to be major. As more and more people are experiencing it, and now I'm talking with somebody about a lawsuit, so we'll see what happens. Alright, so I'm on my way to go talk with Alonzo, who is a pest control specialist, but he's also, he has legal skills. He didn't say he was an attorney, but he wants to file this lawsuit, and I figure, well, I heard something from before, but it never came about, and then, he recently sent me a donation, and then said give me a call. So I gave him a call, and now I'm going to go meet him at the coffee shop and talk. We talked a little bit on the phone, but we haven't really solidified anything yet. So we're going to talk about what we can do here, see if we can get a lawsuit going, because apparently he's getting this gang stalking too, and so you know, I said, well, you know, do you think we can really put together a case that's going to work against the city? And according, you know, he thinks we can, and I don't know, so I'll see what happens. But in any case, watch out for some gang stalking here, because usually when I go to meet somebody like this or something like this, you usually get something. But it's been a little bit quiet since that last gang stalking upload for June 2nd, because apparently that was humdinger. I didn't think much of it. I thought a lot of my other reports were a lot better, but apparently this is a lot of people thought that was significant. So the response has been pretty amazing. People, you know, really like happy, you know, pleased with it. And I'm like, well, okay, great, you know, all right, I'm down with it. You know, that was the whole point. Really, part of the whole point is to be useful to society. And that's another thing I was thinking about. You know, is that this lawsuit might be useful to society, because we need to let people know what's happening here. I mean, you know, that's the thing, and stop it, because you know, that would be one of the main points about this, because I mean, they're doing this to people. There's people committing suicide, and I mean, it's terrible what they're doing. It's beyond terrible. I mean, I'm being too calm about it right now. I mean, the crime and using law enforcement vehicles to do it, but not just that. I mean, energy weapons, you know, all kinds of stuff. Okay, notice here in Matthew 10:28, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Now, what was seeming interesting to me here was that, notice how that there is both a body and a soul in hell. So that would indicate that there's two things that you are taking into hell with you if you go there, which means that and I don't think it's your physical body, because that's going to be buried or cremated or you know, was destroyed when you died. So it says, fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. You see, and hell comes after you die. But the point is, what is your body? You know, we know the soul if we're made up of two basic things, a body and a soul, though what I've heard from reading the Urantia book is that we have a spirit, a soul, and the body. But the body is like the spirit body, so maybe that's what it's talking about. The soul is the program or the personality, and then there's another kind of physical, spiritual body which inhabits the flesh body that we can see. But that's interesting. So both soul and body in hell. And also in the overall point of this scripture, or one overall point at least, is that you see that we're not to fear. That's why I felt that there's no reason to take up firearms, because if they're going to kill you, they can. But the scripture says, "Not a hair on your head will perish." In fact, I think that's right near here in the scripture. But it says, "Fear not them which can kill the body," and I think that means the physical body. Unless because hell is in the earth afterwards, and I don't think people are falling into hell with their physical body. So there's two different bodies here. Fear not them which can kill the physical body, is I think what this is saying, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. See, there's nothing wrong with the wording. God is able to word these things perfectly. That means there's no mistake about both soul and body in hell. So I think that means that the spirit body of some kind. Moments earlier, the security guard, the first I ever saw here in years, that I walked through this Blue Cross parking lot and landscape area where I was just reading the Bible, meets and stops in front of me, then follows me off the property, then even after I leave the property. Okay, so we got another case of security guard stalking, looks like. This cart, for the first time I've seen him, is in this parking lot over here, and appears to be following me around. He met me right as I came up to the walkway there, looked at me, nodded, waited for me to pass over. Looks like he was saying that, gonna wait for me to pass out of that area. So I'm gonna walk over here on the street and then turn around and film him and see. Yeah, here he comes. Notice he stops at this exit, knowing I will have to walk in front of this cart again. How you doing?
Is there a reason why you recorded me?
Yeah, just to make sure you're not harassing me.
Harassing you?
Yeah, just in case. Just in case.
Did I even speak to you?
What's that?
Was I speaking to you?
No, but it looked like you were watching me coming around the parking lot.
Sir, driving around. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
So I don't understand what you're doing.
No, I'm just making sure. If there's nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, I don't, but I didn't speak to you, so there's no reason why you would think that.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Notice he says
that
he did
guy
not
there,
speak to me as though
he
following
knew
me
he was
around the
following me
parking
around
lot would
because
not be cause for a problem.
now I can see where
That is
he
the
could
only
question
reason I started filming.
if somebody's got their camera
Now
out,
watch,
but the fact of
as
the
even
matter
though
is
I
he
am
met
now
me in the
walking
road,
on a public
and then he was
sidewalk,
watching me as he was
continues
driving
following me
around, and then he, as you could see, he pulled right up to that area knowing that that's an area where I'd walk by. So if he says that there was nothing suspicious about that, I would point out that, well, not so much, but you know, he has the bully pulpit because he knows now that if he can do that to me, why it's gonna, Satan knows that, and these devils know that if they do that, why you're gonna be less likely to go enter into that area because you don't want to be harassed like that. You see the way he laughed like that? Did you hear that? I wonder if that picked up on the microphone. He doesn't stalk me. See? So you can look at this guy here. See, he's meeting me right here in the way. See? Oh, he's not paying attention to me at all. He's not thinking about me at all. Yeah, sure, bud. There's no lawsuit. See, watch, he'll probably taken. Oh, he's going to drive back over here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, there he goes. Oh yeah, he's not paying any attention to me whatsoever. See, they probably have him come out because they don't want somebody reading the Bible and so forth on their Anthem insurance lot. That's their right to roll out a security guard to take and harass me, but it's my right to film it from a public street. And to comment that, well, if that's the way I'm treated at Anthem Blue Cross Insurance, why, the world could know about it on YouTube. Okay? That's the way you get treated. And notice I wasn't doing anything suspicious, wasn't filming him before he started following me around. That's why I've got the video camera on me, because I know that demonically controlled people will do this. See, there he goes. He's going to meet me at this entrance here. See, he's over here in this area, and he's getting ready to come by. Got this other security guard now that he's going to inform that, yeah, I got this suspicious guy with the video camera over here, and chances are he's going to take and roll it out so that to make me feel unwelcome in this area. See, if I was just somebody walking with their iPhone or something, they wouldn't say anything. Watch, he's going to come out. He'll probably roll it out. But they win because now I can't go in there anymore. But the world could know that Anthem Blue Cross doesn't want you on their property if you're a Christian with the Bible, okay? See, got the Bible right here. All I would do, not doing anything unusual or unsightly, just reading passages out of the Bible. And now they got to roll out the security guard to meet me in the road like he did, nod to me like he's friendly and everything, but then follow me around in the parking lot. Okay, that's what he did. Followed me around in the parking lot, and the effect of that is
to where I'm not going to feel welcome to be in that area, so I'm not going to go in there, because if every time I go in there, a security guard is going to be following you around. No one wants that, right? So this area is open. There's no stay off signs. There's no reading the Bible signs. There's no videoing signs. See people. Actually, I don't see too many people. There used to be when this was grass. I saw more people, but now, if that, you know, chances are, why, that guy's going to be, probably that guy saw me on the video camera out there walking, and they said, yeah, you know, let's roll him out there. Or he was demonically controlled, or a known paid gang stalker. But the way, you see how defensive he was. He's like, well, you know, I wasn't doing anything wrong, you know. And then the way he laughed, well, I'll let you decide just from looking at the video. What do you think? Howdy. How you doing?
How you doing, sir?
Good.
Why are you recording?
Oh, just in case, you know. I have a blog online and I record things. Pardon me.
I'm just curious to why are you recording. I know you're on private property, so
yeah,
that's kind of okay. But I'm curious to why you're doing it.
Oh well, it's a phenomenon known as gang stalking, and it's a situation that a lot of people aren't familiar with. So when they first hear it, it sounds like lunacy. But in fact, what happened was I uploaded Reptilian Shapeshifter movies to YouTube. And what I discovered is that the demons that are indwelling all of us actually control people in a network to harass you. And people don't even know what they're doing. So what happens is, I'll be walking as I was, and this gentleman here pulled up to the road right as I was passing. And he probably doesn't have any conscious, I wouldn't say that he knew what he was doing.
Hold on, sir. This is plain and simple, it's easy. My job is to drive around the property. Someone passing through is not supposed to, I pass around. So it is unconscious effort. I did pass around. Why? Just to secure the property. Not for you. I don't care about you. It's a property.
Sure.
This is our job. We need to make sure that everything is safe. We all have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And when we see somebody that is recording on a premises, it's kind of our job to see why. And you're saying that you're saying what, or you're recording what exactly?
If you're passing through, I never approached you. I never talked to you. But I thought you were harassing me because you started recording me.
I understand. And I said that as I was talking. What a lot of people don't realize, like I said, it's an unconscious thing. And if I were to, if you want to see my site, my name is RBruce. If you type that name in on YouTube, you can see my channel and decide for yourself. And I'm not realizing... RBruce? Yeah. That's my channel on YouTube. And the phenomenon is known as gang stalking. For instance...
Have you seen anything out of the ordinary?
Yes, I have. The reason I got this, well, is because I was able to capture non-humans on video.
Non-humans?
Non-humans. Demons.
Are there any demons around us right now?
Well, there are demons indwelling everyone. That's what I found out. Even myself. Because when I first started this and I first started seeing this, I saw the features on other people that I thought was what people were calling physical shapeshifters, okay? Because the scripture says, in the Bible, it says that there are physical serpents and beasts. But what I was seeing was in fact demonic distortion. What happens is the demons that are indwelling you somehow distort in between a distance shot and the camera. And this is not like, you know, an exceptional rare person that has demons. Everybody has demons, okay? But when I uploaded this to YouTube, okay, get this, my name is RBruce. I'm of sound body and mind. I grew up here in Calabasas. My mother is a medical doctor. My father is a rocket scientist for Boeing. And when I uploaded my first reptilian shapeshifter analysis from an analysis that somebody else did of the movie The Matrix, I went over here to Fry's and bought my copy of The Matrix with Keanu Reeves, because somebody had made a report on that movie showing non-human features. I'm saying, what is this? I know there's no non-humans in that movie other than the robots, and there's no monsters with claws and fangs like this guy was showing. So I took the movie apart myself, and I saw those features, and I took it apart frame by frame in my video editor. I'm talking about claws, fangs, slit eyes, reptilian tiles going down people's faces, discoloration, things that could not be explained by any number of video anomalies which I'm familiar with.
Have you been recording any other sites, or like how do you go about what place you choose to record?
Oh, notice that I was not looking for any sort of unusual activity. It's just that I always have my video camera out because I'm harassed 24/7. What I was going to tell you was that 4 years ago when I started this, I immediately had 8 helicopters above my apartment in Woodland Hills like there was a drug bust going on. I thought they were busting somebody for drugs.
You know what I want to explain to you is that at first, I'm just driving the property, but since you're recording me, that's a red flag for me.
Right.
Because now you're recording a building that
and
you do have the fear. You do have the fear because of the terrorist attack,
right?
And all that stuff that's been happening. You are recording for an extended period of time, and because you're not just walking and recording, you're stopping and you're zooming in and you're doing all that stuff. That's very suspicious, sir.
Yeah, and I acknowledge that fact. Just so you know, I had no interest in recording the blue crowd. The reason why I was zooming on the building was because there was a hawk on the top that was screeching.
Yeah, there's 2 of them always flying around.
So just so you know, I'm just for the record, you know, I know you don't know me, but you can check me out on YouTube, Richard Bruce. That tells me all about. I'll tell you my complete story.
You just walk by and nothing, but since you kept recording and zooming in, zooming out, something's going on.
Right.
This is not normal.
Well, yeah, and I totally understand that. One of the problems with being able to record the evidence as I have, which by the way has been massive. I mean, a guy flew in from New York and shot with me for 2 days from the Vice News channel to get this phenomena, just so you know how serious people take it. But one of the problems with doing what I'm doing to be able to record evidence, one of the classic ways that I get harassed is with security guards, okay? And you may say to yourself, and I would believe you on your face value, that you have no intention of harassing me and there was nothing wrong that you were doing whatsoever. You're doing your job and there was nothing wrong with what you were doing. If you could see it from my perspective, you would understand why I'm a little bit extra paranoid about it, because when I got the harassment that I got, for instance, it got to be so bad that, and once again, minus doing anything suspicious, because I understand if you're doing something suspicious, if you're walking around going like this, and you know, I understand.
I'll tell you one thing that we look for.
That's really suspicious to us. What you're doing and recording.
Yeah.
No, even before the recording, this is what security does. If you see a guy passing between vehicles, even though you're just passing through, but you're passing between vehicles because you're trying to get to where you have to get to. Of course, we have to watch. Make sure you don't stop and look at the window.
Right.
Make sure you don't stop and look at the vehicle that doesn't belong to you. So that's our job, to make sure to protect the property of the individual that we're working with.
Right, and I completely understand what you just said. So I just want to know that I understand that you have a job to do. Just so you understand, this is the very first time, and I think at least over a year, that on a regular basis I've been walking through that parking lot in the same way. And you know, like I said, I've never harassed anybody or done it.
Specifically me, respectfully, I did not approach you.
Right.
I let you pass.
Right.
You walk through. I think you did it from afar. Let you pass through. But once you start recording me, that's a different story.
Right.
Because I gave you the respect to let you go ahead and pass through without me having to tell you what you're doing here, sir. This is private property. Because I have my right to say this is private property.
Right.
Because I work here. But yet, of course, I know people are passing through, so I let you pass through.
Right. Well, I know that chances are in this conversation, I'm not going to convince you that there was anything unusual going on. But let me just tell you what happens to me, okay? I've noticed this. People don't know it. If I were to come to you and say you were doing something wrong and you know that you weren't, I'm not going to convince you one single bit. You're just going to think that I'm paranoid and seeing things that aren't there. I understand. But just so you know, one of the things that they do is right when I either come home or right when I'm walking out of the entrance, security will be right there passing by like this. And they're not thinking anything. It's just, in fact, they probably didn't. There's no plan, but they're demonically controlled to walk by right when I do this.
Let me give you this scenario, sir. So if you're in your home and someone just walks through your house, walks right through, are you not going to question what are you doing here? Because that's pretty much, this is property for income.
Right.
And you are passing through their home,
right,
pretty much. So I'm just watching you. Of course, you're gonna question someone and say, "Excuse me, what are you doing walking in my house?"
Right.
or next to my balcony.
Yeah.
What are you
I
doing
mean,
here?
Yeah.
come on.
No, like I said, I understand. The only reason why I was filming you in that situation is in case you would start following me around the parking lot. But notice I didn't start filming you until I looked on the side and I noticed that you were passing slowly by, watching me as I'm coming through the parking lot. From afar.
Not close by.
Not close by, right?
Yeah.
But you were watching me, so you acknowledge that.
Of course.
Okay. So
I acknowledged
yeah.
it from the beginning that I'm watching because you passed through the vehicles.
Right, but let me just ask you this. Let's just say I was an older gentleman with an iPhone, okay? And I had just been walking through, let's say I'm wearing a suit like yourself, and I'm just walking through like this.
Any person walking through, I will follow you.
It doesn't matter who it is.
Because my
can
job,
be a kid.
my job is to make
I realize this looks a lot more suspicious than an iPhone, I do. But you know, like I said,
our job with our training is, even if you have a phone, that's, you use it for social media.
Right.
You can use it for anything.
But let me ask you this: are you only working at this hour? Because I've been walking through that parking lot in the very same manner. All I've done, just to tell you, every time I just go under that one tree over there and read the Bible, and then I record and do some uploads. And I've never once, not even one, I haven't even seen a security guard. This is the first time I've seen you in your car.
We always keep a visual.
I never
always keep a visual.
Maybe when you passed by, nobody was around the area.
Yeah.
But it just so happened that you would pass through the mulch.
I know what it is. I'm here a little bit earlier.
You saw him and you start recording. That's why we're having this conversation.
No. He knows what happened.
No, what happened was he was passing by gate number 1, which I let him pass because he was passing through. And then once he got almost towards the other sidewalk, that's when he saw me driving through from afar, big time from afar. And then he started recording me. And then as I drove to the gate, he was recording even more.
Because we're going to need to do our own reporting,
Sure.
obviously.
Well, like I said, all my information is online. You can contact me through that YouTube page if you want further questions or to question me further.
Do you have a business card or anything?
I do.
Okay. Well, we'll take that. Okay.
That's some of the non-human features that I've caught.
Okay.
Just so
that works for us.
Yeah, just so you know, this isn't just you guys. It's security has had the same harassment, and what I would do, because they have a policy that you cannot record at all on their property.
The difference that I didn't initially harass you, it was the other way around. Because I was from afar driving on my property,
right
around.
Okay, I think we're good.
Okay, yeah.
You're on the sidewalk, so you're fine.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. See you later. All right, so there you go. Of course, to them, they're going to be innocent in terms of knowing, but you know, I think you can see from the video he knew there was something wrong with what he was doing, the way he laughed like that. But you know, it's all subjective. Somebody watching that could say, well, they were right, they weren't doing anything wrong. But what people don't know is that people are demonically controlled, and so they have no idea what they're doing. And if you know, in that situation, he's right. If you're recording somebody, it's going to be somewhat suspicious. You know, that's going to raise a red flag for them. But like I said, that was the very first time that I had done that, and now that that's occurred, and chances are, if I even walk through there again, they'll be passing by slowly, same thing again, saying, "Well, this is our job." But like I said, that was the only time I've ever even seen those people there. So it's just kind of interesting. But I am a little earlier than I am normally in that place. But you know, that's once again, I'm not saying that they are necessarily doing anything wrong as far as they can tell. But this phenomena of demonic control on people it's real. Okay, let me say a few things about that incident with the Anthem Blue Cross parking lot. First of all, I acknowledge that it was private property and that they have the right, certainly, to follow through there, even though I said, yeah, there's another lawsuit or whatever. But you know, in reality, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. And also, the main thing is that if there's a question as to whether or not it's worth it to film with the video camera, or
say to yourself, well, wait a minute, I'm causing the problem by filming. So in that case, there's that question, and I understand from their point of view it can look suspicious and so forth and so on. So I acknowledge that. However, if you have to err on the side of whether to have the video evidence of gang stalking or whether you want to not risk causing a problem, I would rather err on the side of video. And I think if you look at that footage, I try to be as objective as I can, although there's no such thing as pure objectivity. So in reality, I acknowledge that someone can look at that and say, well, you created that problem. I understand. But in any case, that is what it is. And but there's another more important thing that happened as a result of that. Okay. The fact of the matter is that it was kind of painful and humiliating. Not that bad. I'm not saying it's terribly bad, but it was. I want to acknowledge when something is less fortunate, and that's what that was. And so I acknowledge that. And then as I thought about it, what could that be? What could that? Because now, see, as I said, I don't want to go back in there, because I know if that guy's going to be following me around like that, it's totally. You totally unwelcome. You're the suspicious guy. And so you don't want to go back there. And so so that's a loss of that place. And like I said, I had never before in all the years that I've been walking through there, I had never seen a security guard until that one time. And what happened? What was different about it? What was I gonna do? What was gonna happen? I was on my way to see this guy Alonzo about the lawsuit, as I was talking earlier in the car. I was on my way. I had been talking with him back and forth on email. Yeah, okay, let's get together. And the more, I said, okay, wait a minute. I don't know if this is, this is really about about filing a lawsuit. And the more I sat on it, the more it seemed right to me, because here's my reasons, okay? Couldn't God have made sure? And by the way, the reason why I was there early was because I was supposed to meet this guy to talk about the lawsuit, okay? But he canceled, and so he texted me and said, yeah, sorry man, I missed the appointment and everything. Okay, so I had gotten there early. I was going to meet him, and then I went for a Bible read at the Anthem Blue Cross lot there. As as you've seen in many videos, I walked through there and film under that tree. So I thought about it, and God could have made sure, if God wanted me to file a lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles, okay, if this was something that God had ordained or something that he would approve of me doing, then he could have made sure that Alonzo made his appointment, and that never would have happened. And the other thing is, couldn't God have stopped that whole thing with the security guard happening to me? If he had wanted me to not decide later that was a proof for attempting to sue the city, to sue at the law, as the Bible says. So the more I thought about this, the more I said to myself, you know what? I think that's what this is. I think this is a reproof. This was a message about suing. And it just suddenly came to me. I just realized as I was thinking about this, it came to me that, wow, that is what this is. It's a reproof for the way of suing at the law. And I was instructed by this reproof, and I turned at this reproof. Now we'll see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows what will happen, or if anything interesting will come of it. But I'm just saying, I turned at that, what I felt was a reproof from the Lord, because that was a pain and that was a loss. Can't go in there anymore. It was humiliating. Okay? And I ain't going to go in there for more. But now, so the question will be, was there something to that? Was that a reproof? Was that a reproof from God telling me that suing at the law, or even suing at the law in this case, or in general, was something that I shouldn't do? And I got the feeling that it was in general. I thought that it was something that this was something that we could realize is about suing at the law. Howdy. Buzz in progress. Return home buzz. Just got back. You can hear the hum starting up. Sound of it might be above the clouds there.
It was pretty rough. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. strong burning. Yeah, it was a weird time. Ew, I'm embarrassed. Can we stop this?
Yeah, he's higher than the clouds, so he can't be seen, so he can be heard. But see, it still has the same psychological effect because when you can hear it too, you know that they got you on a coming home buzz. See? Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. Direct overhead. Direct overhead.
One last question in regard to this whole sort of scenario in, you know, Draco, reptilians, etc. Mark Richards talks about the raptors as being a group of reptilians that went off planet after the dinosaurs. You know, that when they said the dinosaurs went extinct, they didn't actually go extinct, but
Yeah.
there a certain group of them, from what I understand, went underground and stayed
Yes.
here, and then a certain group actually left the planet, and they're called the raptors. Have you ever heard about the raptors?
I've only heard what you've just said. Okay, but
And that they have aligned themselves now with our Navy and Air Force. They're closest to the Air Force, and that they're working with us because their queen was basically told, in essence, that their trajectory of their race would be more positive if they align themselves with humans in a positive way instead of continuing to eat us.
okay, I guess I don't know that. I'm not familiar
But you
enough
do
with
know that reptilians and Draco, you know, the blood sacrifices, the whole Luciferian thing, the kids being killed and eaten. I mean, that humans have been eaten and taken off planet, et cetera, and used for slaves in other colonies, etc.
I hate to say that, but that's far worse than what you've just said.
It's far worse.
Yes, far worse.
Far worse, yeah.
And that the whole blood situation is it's unbelievable, and
Right.
I don't know how we say that to the public. I don't know how. But
Well,
wait a minute, just a second. On that part of this whole subject, to me, if we get into that, and I know all about it, okay?
All right.
Far more than you know.
Sure,
all right?
I'm sure.
When we get into that, if we release it, 70–80% of everybody that listens to your program is going to say, you're smoking pot. I don't believe that, and I don't believe anything you people talk about on extraterrestrial. And it's going to kill what disclosure is trying to do. That's my opinion.
You know the pedophilia is starting to be exposed everywhere. You know that much is coming
Oh,
out.
yeah. But you know the part that I don't want to talk about.
I hear you.
Okay?
Yeah. It saying as much as you said right now is actually great.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you basically are, anyone who's hearing everything else you say is going to have to come to home with this. And if they want to know more, it's out there. It's more and more, it's out there.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to speak for Bob, but Bob Wood, Dr. Wood, who's worked with me on my book, okay?
Yes.
He's a genius. If we were in the conference room and we were talking and there was a big table there, he would have his fist like this and he would slam that table. I want every GD thing exposed. I want it all
Good
out.
for him. That's lovely to hear.
And I have to say, I'm having a hard time disagreeing with him, but
Well, we can do another interview on that subject so that, you know, this one, it goes out, because I know you really want this information out. You want people to start to wake up, and we don't want to turn them off to any...
we don't want, you just said
degree.
it, we don't want them to be turned off. We don't want them to not believe what's being said, okay?
I know, but
and this,
yeah, it's...
and some, we can get into it partially, but I'm saying, I personally don't want to be involved in doing what Bob wants to do. It's too heavy. I think it's going to really hurt getting more people to get involved in this subject, okay? They're going to say that Bill Tompkins is smoking pot. I don't believe one damn word. I don't want to hear about any of this, okay?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it.
I understand. Let me say, because I have interviewed people about these subjects and dealt with this and Mark Richards is very open about it.
Yeah.
Interestingly, but he's in prison, and so they think he's got plausible deniability, says no one's going to believe someone who's in prison. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So that's how they allow that to happen. But I do want to say my philosophy on this, which is humans are not protecting themselves. They're not protected. And so if you don't warn them, you're culpable. The next time somebody gets snatched and eaten or taken away, or their child, and I'm more concerned about the children, obviously, than anything else.
That's,
you know.
That's it. Well, that's what.
And so that's my statement. My statement is, I care about the children, and I want to protect the children. How can you protect a child? You must tell them. You must tell their parents what's happening, what's really going on this planet. And it's about time we humans are able to protect ourselves. There's a lot of New Agers out there who want nothing but to believe that there's ETs, definitely, but they're all hearts and flowers and good guys.
Right. Yes.
And this is such a dangerous thing to put out there, because again, you get humans that will not be able to protect themselves.
That's
and also not understand. Some people get the wrong idea about Camelot, but I'm actually in favor of the military. I know it sounds crazy, but I actually understand that we have a lot of military that are putting their lives on the line.
Yes.
In a daily basis to protect humans that have absolutely no idea that they're in danger.
You're right. Absolutely. I agree.
And that's got to change.
Yeah, it's got to change.
Yeah.
Got ourselves a mini. Let's start walking here.
The reptilians arrived here and again began to take over, instilled themselves in different places underground in the earth, and also this one part of them, the ruling part, took over and became involved in the politics and in the religion, and started controlling through these means at that point in time.
Alright, so in case any of you are wondering, I saw this movie called The Phoenix Incident, and it looks like a badly made military psyops deception video designed to scare people and turn them away from the actual truth, because two things stood out. First of all, they said the actor playing the whistleblower military guy that came out said that those lights were flares, and we know that wasn't true from two things, because the lights that you can see in the video, you can tell that they are too evenly spaced, and then the other thing is that other people saw those lights and saw a large delta-shaped craft like a chevron or like a V, and those lights positioned on there, and that is what people saw. And you can even see from the video a banned sci-fi UFO special that I have at my channel. You can see one of the witnesses saying it was so close. It seemed like it was so close you could almost touch it. So that's one disinformation. And then the other thing is that they're showing these triangle craft, which we now know are or at least for the most part, this is not for sure, but we know for the most part those triangle craft are ours. Okay, they're not aliens. So this guy is describing that these aliens were coming out, and they're like they're on all fours, basically, aliens with large aliens from the movie Aliens type heads, and they're ripping these four guys apart. And that's what's supposed to be. He's saying that that's what they saw on these video on the live feed that he was watching as a military guy, as they were watching them and chasing down these aliens and stuff. And then they're saying that you see these like on all fours aliens growling like some beast from a horror movie. That was the sound effects. I can understand if they want to make it more scary and interesting and entertaining, but that doesn't match what most people are saying are almost all extraterrestrial types are bipedal. So that's the other thing. And if you add that together with the production value is pretty high, and furthermore, as you know, you're not going to find, I rented that in Redbox, by the way, and there's not going to be anything in Redbox or any other major video outlet except for some sort of small individual self-published thing, but it's not going to be for sale on any sort of wide scale if Satan hasn't approved it, and it's all part of the wicked satanic world control that we now live under. So do not be fooled. These are messages that they make specifically to mislead people, and probably also to scare people away from the fact that the real monsters are already here. And according even to Scripture, they do eat people. So they're trying to scare people into thinking that some extraterrestrials came and, dragged these four guys away, and that's why they're missing forever. And it's total. I mean, like I said, those two things, that guy saying those lights were flares, which you can just see from the video that they're too evenly spaced, and the way they're sitting there, they weren't flares. And then and not only that, because you can see the people in the video showing that main picture from the Phoenix lights, and in that video the guy's like, "Whoa, man, there's something unusual," and he wouldn't be saying that if it was signal flares, because you can't tell exactly from the video because it's hard when it's all dark and you just see a little white dot. But you can tell that they could see that it was not something usual. Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. LAPD slowing down for a nice slow flyby, making sure no one in the area is uploading any Reptilian Shapeshifter movies. Want to fly by there and take another flyby pass, make sure that RBruce isn't working on another Reptilian Shapeshifter movie. Oh, I can't say that's a flyby, really. After all, you're just making sure these rent-paying scum are in line. Black and white, circling around the area. Nothing wrong with that. That's his job. He's circling around though, looks like he just circled right there, showing through that opening there. I saw he's doubling back. Want to say hi to everybody on YouTube? Hi! Alright, so I drove out here to this Best Buy to get this Zoom H1 because I left my briefcase in the mall, and by the time I realized it and came back, it was gone. And so I had to buy another one. And that's why I'm out driving here in Thousand Oaks. This was the only Best Buy that had the H1. The rest of them were out of them. They're so popular. And I was thinking about buying the Tascam, but the more I looked at it and thought about everything, as much as I would have liked to have tried something different, the Zoom H1 just makes more sense. It's smaller and lighter, easier to carry, and I like how it has a protection for the microphone on top, so that you can also put things on it, anti-wind, wind covers on it. And then next I'm going to buy the Smart Lav for iPhone, which has a three-pronged 3.5, which won't work. I found out the hard way when I ordered one, and it didn't work. So you have to have a adapter, and Rode also sells one of those. So I'm going to get that online because otherwise they have to order it in special. And I'd rather just order it online. That they'll ship that to my P.O. box. So yeah, it's kind of weird, this whole thing, with continuing to make these Shapeshifter movies. It's just straight up weird, this whole thing, because what I realized is that it's like I'm living in this external world. That's why it's like Satan's world, and everybody that's part of Satan's world, it's like they're in it, they're part of it. All of this is all of these people and all their occupations, everything. It's under the King Satan, and that sounds like a cliche, but the fact of the matter is, you Christians who have been in the Spirit and have experienced all this, you know what I'm talking about. We are living inside of Satan's spirit. It is it's like we're outsiders. We're like that's kind of the feeling you get. And I mean, I've had that feeling for a long time, and actually, when I'm thinking about it, I wanted to just switch on topics a little bit, because I had a friend in the Navy named Chuck Waycaster, and we always hung out and got stoned, and we would buy our pot from this little old lady in town, and then we would drive out and smoke weed, or go swimming and then smoke some weed, and we didn't hang out that much, but quite a bit. And I remember he told me that his dad had gone crazy and was institutionalized, because he said that what happened was he was screaming and scratching at demons. He said like demons were like scratching all over him, and he said that one time they were driving, and he says demons were jumping on the roof of the car and doing all this stuff, and he was screaming, ah, and so he got institutionalized. They put him in an institution, and the thought that I had about it was the same thing as I realized about my dad, about why he was gang stalked and harassed. It wasn't just that people go crazy and all that stuff. It's a demonic attack, and it's but my thought was that they can see through time who I associated with, and what they do is not just these people are collateral damage. That's what it is. They knew that I was going to be doing this, causing a major problem for their satanic, demonic world kingdom. And so what they do is they can see with these time machines, because time control is the ultimate control over reality. I mean, apart from God, who can really control everything, but as far as non-God, it's really the ultimate tool, time travel. And I think what it is they saw me hanging out with this guy, and they attacked his father like they attacked mine. And I mean, that could have been, of course, for a whole different reason, but that was just a thought that I had about it. Like, maybe he got attacked for my sake, and of course I hope not, but I think that my dad was attacked for my sake, because he wasn't really, I don't think, I mean, he wasn't fighting Satan's kingdom. He wasn't a Christian ever, and he wasn't, you know, doing too much to be an activist, except he was fighting the whole tax system. He would work for companies saving him taxes, but really, you know, he wasn't doing anything like I'm doing, exposing, you know, who's really behind it. But that's why I kind of wonder if maybe they are, they attack the parents and maybe even the grandparents, stuff that happened to them that might have been demonic attack for the sake of a future generation of someone that was causing a problem. But I've really gotten the feeling all throughout this that I've been doing it, that this is really like, it's major. It's like this whole thing is like, it has a, you know, if you ever watched that anime Steins Gate, there's like this convergence point on it, and it's like there's a particularly large events have like these echoing repercussions throughout various timelines, and it's really weird, but I think it's true. I think it's all going on. I think there is time travel. I think there is multiple timelines. I think that can occur simultaneously with Scripture, because they can, because time is like looping in on itself when something is changing in the past, and then so the fact that I'm experiencing that I experienced my dad being traumatized by the gang stalking that he got for the sake of me doing this even before I was ever born, then it's like you're experiencing the past and the future somehow simultaneously. The effects of the future in the past. LAPD helicopter passing overhead. Okay, looks like it's continuing to circle. You can hear this. You can hear the noise. Okay, here he comes again. Looks like he's circling right overhead. Yep, direct fly over my vehicle. Hit the mall. It's 11:45, June 14th. Okay, so he's still circling around the area. Here's another pass over my vehicle, direct overhead. Still circling around. Okay, so you can hear a helicopter off in the distance here. And he's in sight right there. So same one that was circling in front of the mall is now in this area over here for some reason. Okay, so as I approach the vehicle and coming in the front here, he's flying directly overhead. See, why is he off in this area now? Couldn't be to harass me for uploading Reptilian Shapeshifter movies to YouTube. Didn't know in this country you couldn't upload stuff to YouTube without being treated like a drug dealer, except you haven't broken the law. So how is this legal use of law enforcement vehicles? Why did he fly by over there and he was circling somebody over there? You see? Right as I approach the door, that's one of their tactics, friends. Don't be fooled. They count on you not being able to convince anybody else that they pull off tactics like as you approach the door to your home, they do a flyby. It's called gang stalking. And it's to psychological warfare harass for uploading Reptilian Shapeshifter movies to YouTube.
Notice how if this LAPD helicopter N233LA was not circling me at the mall, then why does he follow me a full 2 blocks and pass by overhead twice?
Okay, so got an approaching helicopter again. Couldn't be another buzz, could it? Here's my vehicle. Notice the direct overhead nature of the flyover. See? Direct overhead. See, what they want to do is give you that message that leaves no doubt. The direct overhead flyover says to let you know that they are going to fly over your head and there's nothing you can do about it. Because they're reptilians. They don't want you uploading proof of their existence that they feed off us like cattle, friends. Friends, you want to know what that helicopter was just about? Okay, let me tell you what that was about. It's because we are a food cattle race to reptilians. And when I exposed the proof about this, they started gang stalking, harassing me, okay? And it may sound like fiction, it may sound like I'm nuts, but this is the reality I found out. And there's no doubt about it. There's not a matter of delusion or thinking that every helicopter that flies overhead is paranoia that this is coming against me because I uploaded some weird paranormal stuff to YouTube, okay? This is a psychological warfare tactic. And they do the same thing with drug dealers. Think about that. Just think about 2 movies. The movie Blow and the movie Goodfellas, okay? In both of those movies, they had helicopters flying overhead of the guy that was involved with drug dealing. And what happens is, when that happens a lot, you already get scared that something is going to happen, and so you're more on edge, you're more thinking about it, you can't go anywhere without helicopters flying overhead. It wears you down. They don't do this because it doesn't work. Except in my case, I have no past crimes. My record is clean. I lead a clean, boring life up until now. So the fact that they are doing this to me simply for uploading Reptilian Shapeshifter movies since February of 2013 shows us that we are living in a fake reality. I learned that television is a hypnosis, even though I thought I was stronger than that. You know, I still want to keep up on the news and see images and stuff. God showed me that it was something that you don't want in your life at all. And I used to wonder why my parents, before they knew any of this conspiracy stuff, they were kind of like New Agers, but one of the things is they would cover the TV. And I always wondered why they always cover it, and now I know, because even when it's off, if there's power to it, energy and so forth, they can see you, and all kinds of stuff can come through it, negative energy, and so they were right. I found out. My parents were right to cover the TV. And this is just another little piece of the reality. There's chemtrails, our vaccines are being poisoned, our food is being poisoned, our water is being poisoned with the fluoride. It's a known poison, and yet somehow they get away with it. They get away with this huge lie at 9/11, Americans murdering Americans, except there was that, but who was really behind it were the non-humans who work for Satan. They are in control. Do not be fooled, friends. This is non-human sourced. If you think that it is humans doing this, it is humans ultimately behind it, you are wrong. There are humans helping them, of course. They are working for them, of course. They are controlled by them, of course. But keep in mind, the most important thing to realize about this that a lot of people are not getting, they are not brave enough, they don't have enough imagination, they don't realize that something like this could be possible because they've been brainwashed to think that everything like this is ridiculous. There he goes. Same one. Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. It's funny, I was just thinking about the buzz attack.
And I remember, I'll swear on a stack of Bibles, I remember a lizard man in that office.